Yeah, do you know what the most common unnecessary phrase is in English is you know. I was talking to John, and we were talking about what we did at the weekend, and there were a lot of problems, with, So that's the most common filler that exists, which sometimes gets extended to, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And it is actually neuro-linguistic programming, because you are trying to persuade the other person of the truth and the importance of the language that you are using. And if you can get the other person to acknowledge what you are saying, and it is well known in neurolinguistics that there are patterns in language. A person who says yes 3 or 4 times will probably say yes a 5th time, because you're developing patterns. It's well known in personal conversation and persuasion techniques that you begin by asking a person very simple questions that they will agree with. If you look at the work of hypnotists, the first thing a hypnotist does is assess whether or not the person is consciously here, and if they're not consciously here, then you can program them, because if they're not here, they could be anywhere, so it doesn't matter. And the second thing that they do is they get confirmation of patterns and belief from people. Classic example: this is your computer, isn't it? And this is your book. See, I'm building a pattern of yes. In order to get you comfortable with saying yes to me, so there's a higher probability that you will say yes to the important question when I ask the important question. I'm leading you very slowly down the road in terms of persuasion. So you read the material, didn't you? Yes. And you did the homework, didn't you? Yes. So is it okay if I give you the same kind of homework next time? Yeah. So you're leading the person to a point where, statistically, the more times you say yes, the more likely you are in the future to say yes, because the future, the simplest or easiest way to understand and predict the future is to look at past habits.
Interesting.
If you want to know what somebody is going to do tomorrow, you look at what they did yesterday, and you build a picture of their habits. And that's why Google says that 98% of what everybody does is predictable, because Google collects the data about what you did last week and the week before and the week before, and it compiles it and produces averages. Yeah. If a person came to work at 9 o'clock last Monday morning, they'll probably come to work at 9 o'clock this Monday morning, or next Monday morning, or whatever. So it's statistically proven that the more comfortable you are with saying yes to a person, the more likely you are to agree with them about anything. Anything. This is because most people are not conscious in conversations. Me, I'm studying and analyzing each word, each phrase. What does it mean? Where is it going? Where does it come from? But most people are not doing that. Right? Here's an example of automatic thinking. You get in the car, you turn the key, or you push the button, the car starts. You don't think about the mechanics of opening and closing the door. You don't think about all the things happening in the engine. You don't think about the processes. And so this is linguistic manipulation that I'm talking about, because the phrase "you know" is designed to create a positive response that allows you to continue and persuade the person of the next thing. And we all know that in a lot of meetings or negotiations, we don't start with the main thing. You can if you want, but you usually start with a series of smaller things that build up. We do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and this, and then we get to the main point. You can start with the main point. It saves time. But if you look at, I always said, let's take the base example. It would be a guy sees a girl in a bar and thinks she's nice. I want to talk to her. So he doesn't go up to her and, say, "Hey, will you marry me?" Right? He doesn't do that. He goes up to her and asks her some simple, basic, obvious questions in order to get yes responses. It's a nice day, isn't it? Or I like what they've done here. Or do you think it's nice, isn't it? Or you're trying to initiate yes responses, so the person is comfortable and psychologically sees you in a positive light. So is a step in that process, and it also means that the person using the language is not fully convinced or persuaded about what they're saying, because they need confirmation from the other person that things are okay and can continue. And so personally, I have removed all of these things from my language. I don't use them because I know what they mean and what they do. So cut that out. But for example, when I'm talking with my partner and she uses those phrases, I know automatically that she's not confident about what she's talking about. Because it's not about what a person says, it's about how a person says it. Because you can get 100 people saying the same thing, but they can all say it in different ways with different meanings. And it's interesting. Here's a final example. I was doing a live podcast with Yanka on the internet yesterday, and she was telling a story, and in the story she was using and to another person, maybe it works in terms of persuasion across the internet. Maybe the person will be pulled into the story and follow the story, which is what it does. It draws people in. But to me, it just communicated to me that she wasn't really confident about what she was talking about. So it's the same things can have different meanings to different people. And these are the fillers.